Welcome to Spa Brunch. That sound you just heard means it's dinner time. We're here bringing the spa to you live at the Golden Door Spa in Escondido, California, all week long as I'm participating in their 7-day program. I'm Candy, your host. Want to thank you again for joining me. And we're going to get right into, I think, some food here. We're all pretty hungry. That sound, that gong, is our dinner gong, and that goes off every night at 6:15. Calls us to the dining hall for what they call amuse, which are basically our little appetizers. I love how they call it amuse. I think that's just so fun. And usually it's just a very small, it's a bite-sized portion of something, just to kind of tempt our palates and also just kind of get your metabolism flowing and get ready for the meal. But I didn't really realize that there's actually a purpose behind appetizers and amuse here. If you want to get cozy, grab a cup of tea, coffee, maybe a snack, and hang out. I'll tell you all about what day 3 is like here at the Golden Door. So today over on Facebook, our quandary today, our question was whether to go to a class on chakras or on a nutrition, kind of learning some of the latest nutrition facts, kind of keeping with our food theme. And I want to thank everyone who voted on Twitter and Facebook, and the winner was everyone wanted to learn about chakras, which means everyone's as confused about chakras as I am. So I went to the chakra class, even though I really wanted to go to the nutrition class. So thank you very much, everybody, because I really learned a lot. I just wanted to share a little bit of this with you because I never really you hear about chakras. I know it's sort of related to Ayurvedic medicine and Indian practices, but you don't really, I've never really had a good sense of really what it was and what was it to take the place of. And it turns out it's really about your life force and the effect of the outside world on your life force and how that gets you out of balance. So our instructor was really, he had a really cool visual. He had a chain, which he wound up, and he called that our Kundalini energy. So that Kundalini energy is like you. That's your inner being. That's who you are. That's who you were when you were born. All those things that make you uniquely you. And then there's prana, which is the energy that is all around us, all the outside forces, other people's energy, just things that happen in life. And what happens, and so we put a chain where that was the outside. And then your chakras are all the way up your back, up your spine. And he sort of likened them to spinning wheels. They're energy centers, and each one controls sort of a different area of your life. So the very first one is security, or earth, which helps us, create goal, feel grounded and establish goals and things that we want to do in life. And the next chakra is creativity, which helps us see the possibilities, and that's their fire. And the next chakra is purpose, which is fire. So that's your energy to achieve that goal and make those possibilities happen. And the next one up is love, which is the air. And that's, definitely your balancing point of all of your chakras, because there's 7. So that is your center point. So that's like your balancing point where you need to have everything should be aligned with that. And there's voice or vibration, which is the right to speak, also the ability to listen. And so he gave this really interesting example. If someone talks too much, they typically aren't as good a listener. So that means that chakra is off. So that's something that they would want to balance or work on. And then finally there's thought, intuition, which is also known as your third eye. And if you've ever seen pictures of the Buddha, he has a third eye. So that's the sixth sense. You always hear about women's intuition, and that's what that one is. And then consciousness, which is the gateway, to happiness, to the world, from your inside to outside. So if you imagine those spinning chakras going up your spine, And then your characteristics, a chain that kind of weaves around those spinning circles. Then the prana also from the outside spins around those circles, intertwining with you. And that's, as we all know, that's what definitely creates life and creates situations and things that kind of throw us off balance in certain areas. So, and I asked him, I said, I've always thought, well, what is this in place of? How does this fit in with like psychology or self-help? And really, he said they're really all the same sort of animal, just different ways of looking at things, and using resources from all different. This has been around for thousands and thousands of years. So definitely looking back at the older wisdom to mix in with our newer teachings and learning. So I was just, I can't believe, first of all, that I finally understand what a chakra is. And he also gave us a few examples of, so when you have the different chakras, how you can, if you've got a certain area that feels out of balance, like you're at a point in your life and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to, be a better husband or a better wife, or, he had us, he said, you balance your chakras by certain other methods, like meditation. So when you meditate, get the air flowing and you get the thoughts out, all the distracting thoughts and the imbalance. And by practicing that, you create a balanced state of mind and harmony. And he had us do this imagery exercise. So we went and sat on the floor on some mats. He had us do like just a brief meditation to kind of get really relaxed. And, you could use that one. You can do this too at home. You can use the meditation I gave you Monday, which was, they're very simple. You just breathe in 1, breathe out. You breathe in, you breathe out, count 1. Breathe in, breathe out, count 2. Breathe in, breathe out, count 3. Breathe in, breathe out, count 4. So, you do that maybe 5 minutes. You put your hands to the floor and imagine, if your eyes are closed, and imagine that there's like a ribbon attached to your fingers. Your fingers are on the ground, but you start to pull them off the ground up towards over your head. And as you're lifting them, you're pulling up ribbons of energy off of the earth that will give you peace and harmony and give you energy and strength to do what you need to do. So it was so refreshing. I can't tell you, he also played some very kind of soothing music in the background. And that's just something I never would have thought I would have even been interested in, but now I can't wait to kind of learn more, because there are certain, like for instance, Kundalini Yoga, different exercises that work on different areas, different chakras. So I can't wait to explore that further. So that was one of the highlights today. And I have to tell you, I am really feeling serious spa brain setting in. Spa brain is not like, a zombie state, but it's just more like the rest of the world sort of doesn't really exist anymore. It's so nurturing here. Everyone is so caring, all the staff, the 20 girls that I'm here with, we really have bonded so quickly. And it's like we're a bunch of sorority sisters. We're all here, we're going out to the different activities and classes depending on our goals. But everyone goes out without makeup. Nobody really knows what anybody else does. You're not judged. You don't have to have your hair done. You just, throw your clothes on, run out and get about your day and just really enjoy. And it's just so supportive and seriously sweet. I mean, I wish I could have this at home with all these women just coming over. That's one thing I would love to take away with me. But a little bit, of course, you have your girlfriends. So, you have your girlfriends over for a spa day, and you can get that sort of same kind of, it's bonding. And today, finally, is the first day that I'm not tired at all. The first couple days, I felt like such a spa loser. I was like, I was so tired, so much to do and just kind of thinking. But today, my brain is finally slowing down and just grasping what's sort of happening. And I'm feeling like really energized. And it's really just, an incredible feeling. And even today, I had a little bit of a breakdown during my massage. I was having my massage, and she was telling me how tight my shoulders and back felt. And I know we all get that from sitting at the computer all day, especially. She was just relax, and all of a sudden, pow! Tears started coming, but not bad. Good tears, really good tears. Just kind of letting that out. And she told me that kind of thing happens all the time, as a massage therapist, because you're vulnerable, and they're there to support you, and they're here, they're not judging you at all, and really such a gift. So I think that was a lot of stress from the year just coming out, and the waterworks there. So that was definitely an unexpected event that happened today. Onwards to the meals. I think I've talked quite a little bit about some of the meals we've had here, and specifically food. I mean, food is a huge thing, of course, isn't it? When we're all looking for restaurants, when we're going to go out to eat, when we're going to a spa, same thing. Everyone has that notion that spas have just really blah food. You don't get much food. And that's not the case, especially when you have an amazing chef like the head chef here. He just does a fantastic job. You don't feel deprived at all. And they have a really interesting philosophy, which is they want you to eat every 3 hours. And because eating gets your metabolism going. The day is planned around eating, because the eating is set. They want everyone to eat at the same time at set times, so you're eating and getting your three meals, and then also 2 snacks in. So they bring breakfast, so a typical day of meals here is they bring breakfast at about 7:30. So that's typically when we get back from a hike. And we have our breakfast brought to our rooms, and I usually sit in my bed and eat it. I like eating in bed. I don't know, but it's just kind of nice to sit in bed and look out my window. I have a really pretty view of a little stream and a waterfall, and I have shoji doors, which are those Japanese, I don't know if you know but they're the Japanese doors that look like they have the rice paper in the center, and then they're typically window pane pattern, and they slide. So I can slide those in my living area of my room, and they just open up to this beautiful nature preserve. It's got a little hummingbird feeder. It has a deck. It has a little running stream. You can hear water trickling. It's really, really just lovely. So I like to kind of just sit in bed and check that out while I'm having my breakfast. And I have coffee here. They let you have coffee, and they actually have a really good decaf here. They have ground just for them. It's chocolate macadamia nut. It's really good. I mean, it's pretty close to hot chocolate tasting, and it's really good. And then breakfast is light. That's probably your lightest meal, our lightest meal. So today we had oatmeal. Yesterday we had toast with tomato and cheese, and a little bit of fruit. There's always a little bit of fruit there. And then, so once you have your breakfast, you leave the tray, and they come and take it when they clean your room for the day. Then about 10:50 at 10:50, we have what they call a juice break. So, and I was thinking, juice, yes, I'm really missing my orange juice. So I was like, okay, juice, yeah. We went for the break, but it's not juice. What it is a potassium broth, is what they call it. And I know that sounds really ick, right? A potassium broth, but it just tastes like vegetable broth, and that's really basically all it is. And I have the recipe. I'll be posting it up on artsthespa.com for you too, because it's so satisfying. I mean, it's 10:50. You're getting your mid-morning munchies, right? You could do this at work. You could just bring some to work, heat it up instead of your coffee, and it has a lot of vitamins from the vegetable stock in it. It's warm, so it feels really filling. It's almost like a soup that you drink. But in a cup, so it doesn't look, you don't look like you're having soup for a snack, but you just have some of that in a cup, and then they have a big tray of fresh cut veggies. So, and I mean, somebody said the other day, that we wish this big tray of veggies could just magically appear at home, so we could snack on that instead of grabbing for chips or whatever. I had to tell her, I was like, well, you could always just buy them cut. I mean, I know it's way more expensive, but sometimes it's just better to pay the grocer than pay the doctor, right? So that was really funny. So that's our 10:50 juice break. Then at 1, which is sort of later, 1 we have lunch, and that's about our medium-sized meal. And there's always dessert. We had chocolate mousse the other afternoon for dessert that was so unbelievably good. It was really dense and thick, and I was just thinking, how can we be eating this at the spa? Because it was a very tiny portion. It was like a little shot glass, even smaller than a shot glass. I don't know how they get these little teeny tiny containers, but it was so good because it was so satisfying. So you didn't really even need that much. And they do a little trick, a little mind game, which is really smart here too. They serve when they serve dessert, they have the forks and the spoons are miniature, really small, like maybe 3 inches long. So, you can't eat as much. Not only do you have a smaller vessel holding the food, you also have a smaller implement to eat it. So it takes you longer to eat it, and you can get that full satisfaction signal to your stomach before you overeat. And I'm going to tell you in just a few minutes. Tonight we had a cooking class with Chef Curtis, and he revealed what was in that, and it's really unbelievable. You seriously, you're going to die. You're going to die. So I will tell you that in just a few more minutes. But I want to finish just kind of giving you the rundown of our daily eating schedule here. As you can see, it's definitely not shabby, not meager, not trying to starve us to death. So after lunch, we have an entree, usually a salad. Today we had pizza, and I had you can always, there's always a meat, a protein, a fish, or a tofu. They usually give you like 3 choices for each meal. So we choose like 3. They bring you the menu for the next day for lunch and dinner the night before, so you can look at it and pick out what you want to have the next day. Today was pizza, and it had it 3 different ways, and it had acorn squash on it. It had eggplant, tofu on there. It was really, really, and it was good. It was good. It was definitely smaller portions than you would see at, let's say, Domino's, and not nearly as greasy. But it was a really thin crust. The next juice break is at 3:50, and that one is more juicy, if you would. They usually bring a cold tea, so here they have a big selection of herbal teas, and there's a lounge where all the guests can hang out if you want to. And they have a whole selection of different kinds of teas. And really, I don't know where they find some of these flavors. They're so good. And so what they do is they just brew it and then put it in the fridge until juice break. And then there's also, once again, our magic plate of vegetables and fruits reappears for snacking. And I think the tea today was like vanilla, cinnamon, and it was really good. It was sort of like Kool-Aid. And they have stevia here too. So like if you feel like you need a little sugar or whatever, you can have that. And then that's it until 6:15, when that famous dinner gong rings that you just heard at the beginning of the broadcast. And it's just isn't it like just a unique way to call people to dinner? I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, wouldn't that be interesting? Like if you had that at your house, like for instance, your kids are like running all over the neighborhood or whatever, and you want to call them for dinner. Imagine if you had like this gonging outside your house, and everyone would probably think, what on earth is going on? But it's also a really calming, soothing, just very exotic sound. And I just love being called to dinner by that every night. And it, of course, makes sure we don't miss a meal. But believe me, with all that we do, I mean, you do not miss a meal. You make sure. Because today, for instance, we were, everyone was out hiking, and as soon as they saw, it was getting close to 7:30, it was like everyone picked up the pace really fast. And whenever you arrive to a meal, I mean, if you're like a minute late, everyone else is there. Definitely, we definitely need our food and appreciate it. And today, I mean, even like for me today, I had such a busy schedule this morning. I had hike. Then I had a meeting with 45 minutes with my trainer, Nick, and then I had a Nia dance class, which was really fun. That was kind of interesting. It's actually not dance. It's more like a combination of martial arts and a little bit of ballet-ish moves, but mainly just like free-flowing movement, and it stems from martial arts. So it's something that like guys and girls like really love, and they put on this kind of flowy music, and you just sort of move, and you use props and just dance around in circles. It's not, very planned out, not strict. You just kind of move how you want to. It's fun. I mean, you could just like do it in your living room. And we had this, the teacher today, Francine, brought maracas. So, that makes it even more fun. And we were doing the maracas quite a bit, and that was just great. And not only that, it was really an arm workout. Like my arm was getting so tired from just shaking those things, but you don't really realize it because you're just paying attention to all the music and just moving around, and it was really great. And then we also she had us using like sound, because in martial arts, when they use sound, hi-ya kind of thing, it really lets out stress. It's not just like a sound. I never really realized that. Really just getting vocal, it was so hilarious. And if anybody had walked past that and seen like all these women like running around in circles, just, dancing all acting crazy, shouting, I think they might have been like, what is going on there? But it was really a blast. Everybody had so much fun. That's I can really recommend doing that class. If you come here, definitely do Nia. It's really, really, really worth your time. Definitely, and that's one thing here I've realized today too, is that you have to really think what you want to do when you're here, because I think that I've been a little bit done a little more maybe than than maybe I should be. And so like today with the massage therapist saying I need to really learn to relax more. And so I might cut back a little bit, but we'll see what happens. So back to the food. I know you're hungry, and I know I promised you the secret ingredient to that chocolate mousse we had for lunch. How on earth could they serve that at a spa, right? Tonight in our cooking class with Chef Curtis, he prepared a few different things. We haven't had these yet on our menu, but I got a feeling they might be coming up. He made like a chilled fava bean soup. We do like a lot of chilled soups here. We had avocado soup for our amuse portion tonight, and he had like some spices in there, a little paprika. It was really, really good. It didn't taste like just guacamole or avocado. It really had a lovely flavor. You could taste like a little bit of lemon in it. So everyone loved it. They were just like, oh, chilled fava bean soup. He also showed us how to make roasted salmon with romesco and sunflower sprouts. And romesco is kind of a sauce. And I won't read how to do the recipes, because I'll pop that on artofthespa.com for you. You can go there and check out the recipes. But I just want to mention a few tips he gave, which were kind of really innovative and some great things to put in your kitchen arsenal. One thing is that instead of vegetable stock, you can make stock out of cheese rinds. Seriously. I mean, who knew that? And you're always throwing away the ends of the Parmesan. Well, you just save those up in the fridge and then just let it boil in water, strain it out, and you've got Parmesan stock. And it is really a rich flavor, and it's got hardly any calories. It's just a super easy thing that you can put into lots of different recipes and soups. Or maybe you can use it as a base for maybe another kind of cheesy soup, with a broccoli and cheese. If people love broccoli and cheese, I know a lot, but usually it's just thick with cheese, right? Ooey gooey cheesy. This is the way you can make that similar flavor without having all of that cream. So I thought that was really innovative. And another little trick he showed us, he actually uses breadcrumbs to thicken sauces. So, he said it's kind of your older bread, right? But you have that in little cubes, or you can use breadcrumbs, throw that in your sauce, and if it's too thin, and just put those in until you get the right texture that you want. And the last thing he showed us how to make were the best cookies. They're the most popular dessert here, everybody says. And I agree too. They're really, really good. They're called Jam Dot cookies. As a matter of fact, I ate one just before we got on the air here, and it was hot out of the oven. So good, so good. And he uses wheat flour and almonds to make like a meal, like a coarse mealy kind of thing to work with. So it makes the cookies like really hearty and just so that was a yum. So I highly suggest you check out the jam.cookie recipe if you don't check out any of the other recipes, and I will be putting that over on artofthespa.com. And a little while he was showing us how to make the jam.cookies, he told us his way that he makes jam. He makes like a homemade fruit spread jam. He just takes dried fruits and he puts those in juice, in any kind of fruit juice, and just lets that sit for, in the fridge, of course, for days. You want to sort of pack the fruit pretty much in there, put the juice in, let that sit, and bingo, you've got fresh fruit spread. And so that's not only good in these cookies, but I think that'd be really good on toast or scones, whatever, in the morning. So because a lot of the spreads, the jams and jellies you see in the grocery store, they're just like all sugar. So you really want to try and steer clear of those. Find something 100% fruit, and this is a really easy way you can make it, and you can just like customize your own too. You could use like apricots with pineapple juice. You could add some ginger to it. Just get creative and have fun. Before we go, I also wanted to tell you that tonight the Pillow Fairy that we talked about last night, the Golden Door Fairy here, brought us lavender oil. That's definitely going on my pillow tonight. Going to sleep well with that. Lavender is just one of those things that just lulls you off, isn't it? And also want to remind you that the program that I'm doing could be different from what your goals are and what you want to do here at the door. Maybe you want to come and just relax and be pampered, and that they have programs for that too. I'm on sort of a combo that my goals were to kind of work on, kind of stress and inner focus, and also build some strength. So that's why I'm doing a lot of fitness and things in the morning, and then in the afternoon more of the mind-body kind of thing. So before we go, I want to give you this recipe for the chocolate mousse. And the secret ingredient is, drumroll, avocado. Seriously, there is avocado in there. You wouldn't even know it. It's something you can make for your kids. Don't tell them it's in there. And so you make it for guests. It's kind of one of those fun things. Even if you do it for nothing else, make it for this holiday season. Make this and put it out there with all the other desserts. See if anybody notices anything or can guess anything. And my guess is they won't. Just want to tell you real quick, the ingredients for it are 1/3 cup of cocoa powder, 3 avocados, 1/3 cup of agave syrup, 1/2 cup of soy milk, and also then dried cherries soaked in pomegranate juice for like the little topping. What he did is he made the mousse part. So you just take all of the mousse ingredients, that is everything but the cherries and the pomegranate, just blend those up, and it'll get really nice and thick, and spoon it into the little bowls, and then add the dried cherries and pomegranate as like another thin layer over the top so that you can't see the chocolate below. And it's perfect for the holidays. It's red and it's sweet, and nobody needs to know that it's healthy. So anyway, that's it for tonight from the Golden Door. I hope you had as good a day as I did, and I wish you were here. Maybe one day you'll be here with me. That would be amazing. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow night. It's day 4. I can't believe that, how fast time's flying. So have a great night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.